do to make sure we fortified as a unit, but don't leave me mortified. If you'd have kept it 100, a brother would be more than fine. Gave you more than time, gave you some peace of mind. That's why I got some qualms about the way you treated mine. You came close to doing damage to my third eye.
Here's the deal. You won't talk about the fact that I haven't posted in a long time, and in return, I'll try to post more. How about that? Today I bring you pretty much like my channel, Forgotten Manhwa. Because so many works get published or translated every week, a lot of works end up being forgotten, especially the ones we read back when we discovered Manhwa. So I decided to go back in memory lane. Whatever reason it may be for this work to be forgotten, this series will be focused on finding lost gems, or even ordinary works that will trigger some nostalgia. Warning though, I've read a lot of these works years ago, as such my opinion might not be up to date since there's some I haven't caught up with. So, without further delay, let's get into it. Number 10 comes with The Second Coming of Gluttony. A manhwa that came out in early 2019, this was one of the first ones to explore the element of a main character being able to return to his home world whenever he wanted to after being isekai'd, or at least from the ones I remember. This story is about Jihu, a guy who gets a second chance at life after almost dying on a dangerous battlefield. He remembers bits and pieces of the future through strange dreams and relies on magic for good luck. But when the magic starts to fail, his life falls apart. That's when a mysterious woman shows up and offers him a deal that changes everything. With horrors awaiting him, Jihu must use his dreams and what little he knows to survive. The premise of the story is quite good, and the execution is also nice, but the characters kinda ruin it. The main character keeps forgiving people who are clearly going to betray him, which is just dumb. Then there's this girl who I won't even mention, at least this is what I remember about it. Despite that, I do think it's a nice trip back to the past, and something you should maybe give another read. The official translation is over at Tapas. In number 9 we have Descended from Divinity. Now this is a work I actually kept updated on. Descended from Divinity follows a guy whose name is too hard to pronounce, a powerful divine demon from the mirroring world, who finds himself reincarnated as Roman Dimitri, a spoiled and clueless noble. As Roman, he brings his fierce no-nonsense mirror mentality to the western-style fantasy world of Salamander, determined to uncover why he was reincarnated and whether it's divine punishment or a mission. He uses his new position to reshape the world around him. Another reincarnation, and so what? I like it. There's two main points as to why I have been following this work for almost 3 years. Number 1, the main character. He's fierce and does things his way, without caring about what people might think. And number 2, no female lead. While female leads add a nice element to some stories, they also ruin many others. In this work, it makes sense for it not to exist, and as such, I thank the author for not forcing one down our throats. With that being said, I have no idea why you're still here. Go read it, the official translation is over at Webtoon. Number 8 comes with Second Life of a Gangster. Jung Seok is a 41-year-old gangster who climbed to the top of his organization by living a life full of crime and betrayal. However, his reign ends in misery, forcing him to reflect on his choices. Given a second chance, Jung Seok starts his Virtuous Living project, striving to make amends and live a better life. But, as a former gangster, turning over a new leaf isn't easy, and his past comes back to haunt him in unexpected ways. This manhwa is packed with fast-paced action and a gripping storyline that keeps you hooked. Jung Seok's path to redemption feels authentic, and his unique take on justice makes him a fascinating character to follow. This was one of my first Back to the Past stories, and what truly got me hooked on them. Despite having its flaws, like most works, this still feels like a story everybody should read. The story's intensity and the main character's growth are a standout element of this work, something I highly recommend. In number 7 we have Descent of the Demon Master. Jin-Hoo's life takes a dramatic turn after an accident robs him of his family and mobility. Reincarnating in medieval China, he becomes the legendary Crimson Emperor. But after his untimely death, Jin-Hoo wakes up back in his original timeline, before the accident, with his martial arts skills and powers intact. Determined to live a normal life, he soon discovers that even in the modern world, monsters and dangers lurk everywhere. Reluctantly, Jin-Hoo must use his abilities to protect those around him. This manhwa is a mix of slice of life, comedy, and action, which makes it fun and lighthearted, though not for everyone. The main character is overpowered, and torn between living quietly and handling chaos. And you know how well they usually goes. A main character that once lived quietly but always ends up doing something extra. How many times have we seen it? The fights are entertaining though, and the comedy is alright. I remember quite enjoying this despite some of the flaws of the main character. Despite coming out in 2019, why not give it a try now? Who knows, you might enjoy it. The official translation is over at Tapas. Number 6 comes with Read to Level Up. Jong-suk is as average as they come, except for his love of reading. One day he stumbles across a mysterious book that changes his life forever. The book lets him write about his experiences, and in return, it gives him experience which he can then use to level up. All of this in a world without any fantasy. Suddenly, Jong-suk finds himself growing stronger and gaining skills he never thought possible. With his life no longer so ordinary, he must decide what to do with his newfound powers and how far he is willing to go to unlock the book's secrets. This manhwa is a roller coaster. Some chapters are good, but others are terrible. The art shifts noticeably, especially with one girl whose appearance changes completely, and the romance feels forced as well. But as it may have happened to you, some of these works, despite how bad they may be, they suck with you. And this was one of them for me. I come back to it every so often and I read it again. Especially because it's completed, I can finish it in one go. So I decided to recommend it. Who knows, maybe there's someone out there who would enjoy it as well. The official translation is over at Pocket Comics. In number 5 we have Gourmet Gaming. Gourmet Gaming follows a man battling a rare condition that forces him to constantly eat, putting his life at risk. As a last-ditch effort, his doctor recommends Athena, a VR game where he can indulge in limitless food without health consequences. The game feels incredibly real, with dishes that look and taste amazing, but food in Athena doesn't come easy. The main character must embark on an epic fantasy adventures to earn his meals, turning his fight for survival into a gourmet gaming quest. If you love food and humor, this is a must-read. It's a refreshing twist on gaming manhwa, with the protagonist playing for survival instead of money or fame. The art makes every dish look amazing, to the point where even you get hungry, and the main character's interaction with the NPCs are genuinely funny. It doesn't have loads of action, but the unique premise and lovable characters make it a standout. I highly recommend it, so go over to Tapas for the official translation. Number 4 comes with The Live. The Live tells the story of Yoon-jae, a man shattered by the brutal murder of his wife and daughter. His life takes a dark turn when a cryptic message in his journal says, "You can see them again." He's drawn into a deadly game in a parallel universe, where only the final survivor gets their wish granted. Yoon-jae must fight through this hellish world, driven by the hope of reuniting with his family. But in a game where everyone fights to the death, survival comes at a steep cost. This isn't your typical overpowered main character story. It's raw, dark, and emotional. Yoon-jae is a broken man clinging to hope, and his struggle feels genuine. The violence is intense and fits the gritty tone of the story. The straightforward level up survive plot is made even better by interesting side characters. While for me it didn't survive the test of time, it's still something I remember, so I definitely think it's worth recommending. The official translation is over at Manta Comics. In number 3 we have The Legend of the Northern Blade. Mu-woon is the son of the 4th generation leader of the Northern Heavenly Sect. After his father is accused of colluding with the enemy and forced to commit suicide, the sect disbands, leaving Mu-woon alone and under constant surveillance. An unexpected attack by the Silent Knight allows him to escape and train in the mountains. He masters his predecessor's fighting techniques and returns to the mainland to avenge his father's death and confront the villains threatening the world. While you might be thinking that this is another revenge martial arts work, you would be wrong. The revenge plot was used exclusively to set up the character development for the main character, and in my opinion, it's not the main focus of the story. While the manhwa started off a bit weak, it soon picked up steam and became a hit. It's definitely one of the most well-known works when the martial arts genre is mentioned. Of course, it's also quite forgotten, and that's how it made its way into this list. With beautiful artwork, engaging story, and relatable characters, this is something I would definitely recommend anyone to give a chance to, and I'm sure many of you did. For the official translation, just head over to Tapitoon. Number 2 comes with Dungeon Reset. This work follows Da-woon, an ordinary guy summoned into a deadly dungeon where he must survive against monsters and traps. As a mere crafter with no combat abilities, his situation seems dire until a glitch causes a reset, granting him random yet useful skills. With a bloodthirsty assistant and an adorable ground squirrel as companions, Daewoo navigates a dungeon, breaking the rules and exploring new possibilities. Or so they say. Another work that didn't go unnoticed when it came out. Dungeon Reset seemed like it would follow a more darker route in early chapters, but turned out to be more of a comedy type work. The shift from a horrific Soul-like environment to a funny guy protagonist was quite unexpected. Even though some people might not have liked it as much, it's not exactly bad. Despite the story not being deeply immersive, it continues to be highly entertaining. And in my opinion, that's due to the main character's cleverness and unique approach, which obviously makes him stand out. I do have to warn you though that there might be some annoying pets, let's put it that way. Definitely try it out if you haven't, or go back to it in case you already read it. The official translation is over at Tapitoon. And in number 1 we have The Skeleton Soldier Failed to Defend the Dungeon. A very popular work when it came out, especially because of the monster main character. This work follows the story of a dedicated yet powerless skeleton soldier whose life revolves around protecting his dungeon master, Lady Succubus. Their peaceful existence is shattered when they are both murdered by warriors. Miraculously, the skeleton soldier is reborn 20 years in the past and vows to prevent the tragedy from happening again. Despite his lack of combat skills, he embarks on a quest to change his fate and save Lady Succubus. I especially enjoy this work for the different perspective that it offers. Here, adventurers are not the good guys, but someone that destroys the peaceful life of our main character. And our main character is just a nameless skeleton with no special abilities, which makes him quite unique and adds a fresh twist to the genre, or at least it did back in the days when it was released. The story has more of a darker vibe and avoids the typical fan service and the modern video game references. Overall, this is one of the few works that has stayed relevant for such a long time, and as such, you should give it a read. The official translation is over at Tapitoon. Now guys, this was Manhwa you probably forgot about. Did you forget these, or have you been keeping up with all the updates? Let me know in the comments down below. If this video helped you in any way, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss any of my videos, if I actually decide to record them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.